Welcome to Open Talk once again. It's yet another Wednesday night when we come to you and we just want to feel free and talk openly. Remember, this program is to inform you, to encourage you, to build you, and to educate where we can by the grace of God. We do not claim to be experts, but we are Kenyans. Being Kenyans, we're living a free life, and there is freedom of speech. So we just talk, and you are also very free to talk to us. There is a number on the screen. You can talk to us through that number. Send a text message. Please don't call, but send a text message, and we will get back to you at our earliest convenience. So thank you so very much. Now, I want to let you know that Joyce is with us this morning, and I want Joyce to say Jambo.
Welcome to the program Open Talk, and I pray that you receive a word today that will help you and your family, or in whichever area of your life. Like Bishop says, the program is there for you. We think of you. So welcome and enjoy the time together with us.
Thank you. So thank you, Joyce, for that. And our guest tonight is somebody I've known for a long time. Maybe not too long, but I have known for long enough. I've known long enough, and I want our guest to say jumbo to you. Our guest is David Momanyi Gichana. Gichana, I know longer than I know David. So that's how the history goes. I have known David since before he was born. Correct. And now Correct. he is an advocate of the High Court. Correct. He is a lawyer in this city. Correct. And you can get him. He will tell you where you can get him. Now, there are those of you who think that the offering does not help. Mm-hmm. This is one of the material Correct, that was educated through the offering. Yes, and we are not ashamed of that. We are not ashamed of that. Bishop, because according to the scriptures, they that preach the gospel shall live by the gospel. Yes, true. And so I'm proud of our kids because of what they have done. Yes. David is a son to Bishop George Gichana Nyabando, whom I have known since 1973. That's the first time that we met with Bishop George, and we have been together. We have gone to different places. So by the time they are being born, we have been together, and they grew up together with my kids, and we used to go for holidays together. We visited one another. Yes. They shared the beds. They shared everything. And we thank God for that. So, David, you are so much welcome to the show. Thank you, congratulations for not letting us down. We are proud of you and what you are doing. Would you like to greet our viewers? This is Open Talk.
Hello, viewers. My name is David Momanyi Gichana, as the bishops have said. I'm born again. I love the Lord as my personal savior. I'm a father of 3 wonderful daughters and husband to 1 wife, Jean Wanjiko. I love you, babe. I know you're watching. And the girls. And more than that, I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and it's a joy for me to join you on Open Talk.
Thank you so very much. Now, this Open Talk, David, is a time where we just open up and educate the people and give information to our people, as those who watching the program, because according to Hosea 4 and verse number 6, the scriptures declare plainly, God speaking, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So ignorance is one of the greatest enemies of the people. Correct. Many years ago, when we were getting our independence, our first president declared and said, we have 3 great enemies. That is ignorance, sickness, and poverty. Those three are greatest enemies. Unfortunately, up to today, this enemy is still with us. Ignorance, poverty, and there's ignorance, diseases and poverty. Those three that are still with us. But we do everything we can
Yes.
to reduce
Correct.
to reduce the degree of ignorance,
Yes.
reduce the degree of poverty,
Correct.
and reduce the degree of sicknesses.
Correct.
Because if you remember, Jesus said, the poor you will have always.
Correct.
So we may not be able to eradicate them,
Yes.
but we can reduce.
Yes.
Now in this program, we want to know. It's mostly everybody listens.
Yes.
But we want to understand from the legal point of view.
Correct.
What is marriage?
All right.
What is marriage and what kind of marriages do we have in Kenya?
Kenya.
If you could elaborate that a little bit, that would be very helpful.
Well, the Marriage Act in Kenya defines marriage as a legal union between one man and one wife, or one man and many ladies. So you can say monogamous or polygamous union.
So we have two
Yes.
monogamous,
Monogamous.
monogamous, not
Yes.
monoga.
Monogamous, which is first one, and then polygamous, which is one man with many wives.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, okay, tell us more.
And then now when we go further, it has specified the types of marriages. Here, the first one is civil marriage, which is conducted at the registrar's office. And then you have the Christian marriage, which is conducted under the Christian faith. Then you have the Hindu marriage, which is conducted according to Hindu rites. Then you have Islamic marriage, conducted under the Islamic law. And then you have traditional African customary marriage, which is according to the customs, African customs. Now, the African customary marriage allows for polygamy. It allows one man with many wives. And so does the Mohammedan, or rather Islamic marriage. But the three, the Hindu, the Christian, and the civil, is one man and one wife.
Now, since we are Christians,
Yes.
let's give it. Let's go to the Christian,
Christian
kind of marriage,
Correct.
so that we can be able to see where the church is, and who does the Christian marriage, and how long is it valid,
Right.
and some of those issues.
All right. So of course now it's one man and one wife. So we believe that the first thing they should be declaring Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, because that's what our Christian faith is all about, declaring Jesus as Lord and Savior and yielding to Him. So it's one man and one wife voluntarily who are above the age of 18 years.
So you've got to be above 18.
Yes.
What about if you are just 18? Is it 18 and above or above 18?
18 and above, because at the age of 18 you're considered to be an adult according to the laws of Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
So at 18 and above, and it's got to be voluntary. It is not this where we go and discuss with the wife of the father of this girl,
Yes.
and we discuss and we make arrangements and say, okay, from today you are married, you are Christians, in the name of the Father and the Son.
No. You have to be. It has to be voluntary, and that's why sometimes I know, Bishop, in your many years of experience, you have gone through situations where you have parents coming to challenge the wedding or challenge such a ceremony, but the people who are active participants is the man who is the groom and the bride. Those are the important people, and the witnesses, because there has to be witnesses to the marriage. So the best man or the best lady, that party of four are normally the key people, because they're the ones who the law recognizes as the groom, the bride, and the witnesses.
So tell me, David, what do I do? I have this couple that I want that wants to get married, and you are assuming it's not there.
Yes,
okay.
I'm assuming.
But we have this couple who wants to get married, and then getting married this Saturday. On Friday evening, their father says that wedding is not going to be there, because this young man has not bought a blanket or has not bought a coat
for me, yes.
for me, so there will be no marriage. And the two want to get married. How do I handle that?
The two parties are independent. The bride and the groom are independent. What we have always done is just to consent and try and bring harmony by including the family. And there are times those hurdles are there. If it becomes very unreasonable, when maybe, Bishop, you have sent someone talk to them and they are not listening, you are free to conduct the wedding, because it is the husband, the groom and the bride who are the important parties. But because of our Christian faith, we try to accommodate everyone and try to listen. But legally, as long as the groom is there and the bride is there, and the officiating minister who's licensed, that's the other thing, you have to be licensed to carry out the ceremony. As long as you're there, you're free to proceed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're getting something, Joyce.
Yeah.
It's voluntary.
Yeah, it is voluntary.
Just like ours was.
It is voluntary, and most of the time it's just we are trying to build a consensus. Because coming with the history I know of our African culture, marriage has always been a family thing, and including everyone. So
it's
we'll
like a clan thing, the whole clan.
Yeah,
so this corona thing is really torturing.
Torturing a lot
of people.
I've received friends who are asking me, hey, there's no way of reviewing this law or something? I'm like, no, let's just follow what the government has said.
Because you see, in marriage, you want the whole clan to come.
True.
And where possible, the whole tribe can come. So that they can witness the son of so-and-so has gotten married to the daughter of so-and-so.
Yes.
But then when that is not there, and you are left with only 15 people, then the other challenge is, how do I choose the 15?
Correct.
Because even when you bring in the first cousins, just the first cousins, they are more. So it becomes quite a challenge. Let's go back to the Christian marriage.
Correct.
And you said it is between two. They should be 18.
Yes.
By mutual agreement.
Yes.
Now they have come together. They have finished their honeymoon, and they have come back home. They have started. They have started a home.
Yes.
And there are challenges.
Correct.
There are challenges that come. I don't know whether what challenges you have faced as a lawyer, or whether the challenges you face as a lawyer are the same challenges that I face as a pastor.
It is the same. It is the same. First of all, being a man, there are challenges that we face as men. And then there's challenges you also face as a husband and as a father, and also in our profession. They are similar. They may just take a different image, but they are similar challenges. And one of them, which I know is it my money? Is it her money?
The issue of money. I think that's an issue that we need to discuss. What do you think about that, Joyce? About the issue of the issue of the challenges. That's some of the challenges that face couples when they get married.
I believe they are there, and there is no marriage. Whichever. Okay, we are talking about the Christian one, but even the Christian marriage, I do believe, comes with its own challenges, and it's normal. I've chosen to look at it as being a normal process of life, like any other. The issue is just then, how do we handle? And I think there is a misconception that comes with people before marriage, especially when it's a Christian marriage, that all will be well. You're born again. Yes, I'm born again. Can imagine. He's the bishop.
Yes.
Everything will be well. But I like what you're saying. As long as we are not talking about a human being, a man and a woman, the challenges will be there.
Correct.
And I believe there is no point in life or of the marriage, whether it's married 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, that you can say we are what do you say? Challenge free, trouble free, or problem free.
Corona free.
Yeah, I doubt because life is evolves.
Yes,
it keeps
it does.
evolving, and human beings also evolve. So, and with that comes challenge. So, I'm glad that we are here to look at. We may not look at all, but I'm glad we are here to look at some of those.
Yes.
And just see how they can be addressed, especially also legally. Christian, biblically, from the word. Yes, the bishops, the pastors know how to handle that. But I'm glad you're here. We can look at it from the legal point.
Yeah.
So we agree.
Yes.
That it doesn't matter whether you are born again or not born again.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter how much born again you are.
Or how many years.
Or how many years you have been born again.
Correct.
Or how much you speak in tongues. Or you don't. It just means challenges will be there.
Correct.
Because we have two individuals coming from two different backgrounds.
Yes.
Brought up at a different culture and by different people.
Yes.
Now you are coming to stay together, and you have your history, and she has her history, and that brings in collation.
Yes.
That brings in a lot of collation.
Correct.
And it calls for tolerance.
Yes.
and understanding.
Yes.
Unfortunately, a lot of young people get into marriage without understanding this.
Yes.
And as soon as they get there, there is a battle that comes in straight away. Let's look at some of the challenges that come, or sources, or some of the challenges that come.
Yeah.
And looking at these people who have come together, and because of our cultural setting and our economic setting, by the time they are getting home, they have just gotten together. By the time they are getting home, either a niece or a nephew or a sister or a younger brother has been sent to come and stay with them. Stay with them. Do you see that as one of the challenges?
Yes, it is, because you have been waiting for this time to maybe to just be husband and wife, and now all of a sudden you have a third party who has been introduced into the equation, and suddenly now the scale tilts on one side, and you're wondering now what do you do, because this person seems not to be moving. If it is maybe my relative, my wife would be, isn't this person going out of this place so I can have time with my husband? And if it's her relative who has come, isn't this person leaving so I can have time with my wife? So that is one point where you start now arguing on how do we deal with this situation. So indeed it is a challenge.
So how do we tell our parents? How do we tell them not to send these relatives?
I think what I've learned was to draw boundaries, draw a boundary. I mean, now thank you, you've brought me to this level. Now here, let me take my responsibility and move. I know you love me as my father, you love me as my mother, but from this junction, allow me to leave. I had actually to have a discussion with my dad. You know him. And I could see also him getting to adjust, that my son no longer can just come into Eldoret or get out just like that. If they have to come, they have to discuss and talk. So it means we had to define our boundaries so that now they can know at what level to start engaging. And when we say no, they know it's the Momanyi family that has said. It is very interesting, because we never thought about it. You know, when you're still growing, you never see it.
Yeah.
But as you grow and now you realize that I have to take responsibility of my family and my life and people who care and love me, I have to draw boundaries and just tell them no, where it really means it's for my good and also for their good. Because by allowing now those relatives, extended family to start coming in, we'll start having difficulties with my wife in the house, and they will not be there to solve. And then things degenerate.
Yeah, drawing boundaries and being able to say no. Yeah, I think there is a book written on how to say no without feeling guilty. Without feeling guilty. I haven't read it, but I've heard him talk about it.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah. So I think, like you're saying, also for this new couple to be able to say, because what I think, or what I think, because I've not experienced that, is but parents also do it in good faith.
Yes.
Most of the time, they would be doing it in good faith, maybe sending a girl and telling her, you know, go and stay with your sister, you know.
Yeah,
I can imagine a scenario where a couple is just married and maybe a baby just comes in the first year. And so, you know, they're doing it in faith. Go and help your sister. But, you know, I don't know how this sounds, but you'd even rather get somebody you don't know and, you know, have them help you.
Yes.
Because with blood relatives, if your sister, if like my sister was to come here, definitely she'll side with me.
Correct.
If, let's just suppose, a brother or sister to the bishop were to come, they would side with him, and that already there is a crisis. So just being able to say, Mom, thank you, but no. Dad, thank you, but no, give us time.
Yeah.
And I've had the bishop talk to parents during weddings, that, you know, even you as a parent, we are talking sisters and brothers and cousins, but even you, as a mother and a father, don't go there, you know, every other time. So yeah, that allowing the space for the couple to get to know each other, I think is key.
Yeah.
And even later on in marriage.
Yes.
You know, if you go, I'm thinking, like, if you were to get to a point in your marriage, you're stable, even let's say financially, I would even rather help my sister from afar. If I can get her a house, help her get, a job or go through college. But from afar, that of course comes with time. But I would rather do that than have her stay in my house. She can visit, but so totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
We don't want to dwell much on counseling, on what we on counseling. We want to look at the
legality.
Yes. So we want some legal education. Now these people are married, and they have started working. So this lady is earning, and the young man is earning. How do they handle their money?
From the onset, what the law says is that you're coming into this union as equal partners,
regardless of the shares.
Yes, yeah, you're just coming. You're coming in as equal partners. So, from what you have when you're a single person, single lady, single man, you're coming in as equal partners. And here you'll find what we in our generation, but I know also your generation, you had it, prenuptial agreements, where people talk about, now I came in, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of property. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 7 properties. Now, in case this marriage does not work, I get my 5, you get your 7, and we all go our separate ways. So we have that kind of arrangement where people now are actually signing agreements, saying that in case we do not agree, whatever is mine, and whatever is yours, is yours. But when you come into marriage, the law says you're equal partners. So that means whatever now you're going to acquire when you're in that marriage belongs to both of you. Mine is yours, yours is mine. That's what the law says. And I believe it's also what the word also reminds us, that you shall cling and cleave.
You see, according to the word, you are one.
One, true.
So you don't have anything, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
We do,
Yes.
we have, and that's the way I look at it. Because again, material has been a major problem in many marriages. That you have this, and this one is mine. That is yours. Now, but let's just go back to what you were saying.
Yes,
that before you get married, what you have is yours.
Yes.
But there's got to be some agreement.
Yeah, there's got to be some agreement. There's got to be some agreement. However, if you do not feel like writing the agreement, you can also agree with your spouse, saying, now, this is what I'm coming in with. And whatever is mine is yours. And whatever is yours is mine. I'm bringing this, and you have this. So it's ours. It's for all of us. This is ours. Yetu. That is one way. And then there's now the legal way, where people will actually sign agreements and have them registered. And personally, I find that can also be interesting, because it means you are not sure about this marriage. But being a believer, being a Christian, I believe God has ordained me to be with you. So we are in the long haul. But
let me cut you short and say, it doesn't matter whether you are a believer or not. When they are getting married, they are not sure. All of them, they are not sure at all. Because you've got to grow together. You see, in growing together, there is a bonding that takes place, and that is the crucial thing. And much of the growing together is through problems. There's some of the challenges that come. You face them together. There is a bonding that comes. At times, when you don't face challenges, you find independence.
Correct.
So you are thinking on your own. She's thinking on her own, and that unity is not there. That bonding is not there. And if it is not taken care of, you can grow, and you find you are going apart. You are going apart, and as you go apart, now you find you have yours. I have mine. This is my car. That is your car. So why are you using my car? Why did you take my car? So it becomes my, until there is instead of bonding, people are going
in separate ways.
Separate ways. Yeah. And maybe these are things that needs to be taught.
Correct.
I don't know how we can teach this, Joyce. to people, so that we can prepare them as they get into marriage, the things to expect.
I think it's important for even one. I believe that the couple getting married, the people getting married, should take personal responsibility, okay, for their lives and for their coming marriage. And I think one of the ways that they can do that is to seek for mentors. I know church normally would have the premarital counseling, and I believe that sometimes I think takes more of a spiritual angle, but I know it covers many things. But beyond that, I believe it's important for these couples to have a Christian, since we are talking Christian, mature couple who they can model, who they can sit with, who they can see them living their day-to-day life, can visit with them. And with time, you know, they'll pick a few things. So mentors are key. But I think today there is a challenge with our generation today where relationships are like a secret. It's us, and we don't want people to know
what's happening.
So I mean, I have seen or been invited to weddings the last minute, and I'm thinking, you mean there was something? You just see a card being invited, and I'm wondering, you know, I didn't know. So people have kept relationships as secrets of personal things, but I think, actually I've talked with your mom quite a lot, and I know she has told me in their generation, they had like aunties. And these aunties would walk with a girl, for example, and I believe also for the men, they had the same. And this girl can now be taught many things, you know, so that by the time she's getting married, she may not know everything, but she has the basic principles of marriage. And that is lacking today. So mentors for me, when I look at it now, from where I am now, they are key. Among other things I want to believe. Yes.
And what I picked from you is that mentorship is not done in a classroom.
No.
Mentorship is not done in a classroom. It has got to be in life. The way every day, the day-to-day life. I think that is very, 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 very key. We still have not handled about the material or the possessions, but we will still look at that. So we can be able to deal with the myth about money. But maybe before we go into that, we will get into a break. Let's get into a break, and then we will be back in a moment. You have a break too, and we will discuss about money. Thank you. Every Thursday, 8:15 is our communion night. This communion is international. It's for everybody. Everybody is so excited. We are so excited about Thursday night when the church gangs up and is united together. People from different denominations, people from different backgrounds, we partake of the communion together. Because instead of you going out there for the communion, the communion comes to you where you are. So please remember that. Welcome back to Open Talk. Open Talk is an open program where we receive education, information, maybe rebuke, maybe correction, whatever. But we are just open people. We talk our hearts out and bring information to you right there where you are. And tonight we have Joyce with us. She's still very much with us. She's part of this Open Talk. And our guest is David Momanyi Gichana. David Momanyi Gichana is an advocate of the High Court, and also he has a farm. He has a farm that he runs, Momanyi Gichana Advocates. So if you need some legal advice, you can visit Momanyi Gichana Advocates, and you will be helped. So, but tonight we are talking about marriage. We want to talk about marriage or the family, and we have looked at some of the challenges that come into marriage when young people get married, and we want to continue on that and start looking at the matrimonial properties. Matrimonial properties, because when you get married, the pastor says, okay, let all the bishops and the pastors come, lay your hands on this new couple, and they pray.
Yes.
And they pray for you to prosper, they pray for you to have children, they pray for you to have wealth and good health, all these things.
Correct.
And this end up being properties, including children. So let's look at the matrimonial properties.
Yes, Bishop.
Maybe from the legal point of view, what can you say to the viewer?
Now, matrimonial property, the way the Matrimonial Property Act defines it, is now whatever you acquire during the subsistence of your marriage, during the length of your marriage. So here you're talking about the matrimonial home, where now you are actually residing as husband and wife. That is like forms the major one. And now there are some who are really blessed. They have several homes across the country. So those are that's matrimonial property. Talk about your motor vehicles that would be maybe you have acquired during the subsistence of your marriage. Any business that you're also doing, maybe a family business, you're engaged, that's also comes as matrimonial property. And of course your children are also yours, but you can't term them as property.
They're the property of the government.
Yes, yeah, but they have come to the world through the husband and wife. But here we are normally just talking about the movable and immovable properties that you acquire during the life of the marriage. And that's what now it handles. And here it says that you are equal partners. One thing that I can also make clear is that when you're also in that marriage, you are allowed as a husband to acquire your own property, as a wife to acquire your own property. You can be sued or sue in your own capacity, not necessarily as a couple, because you're allowed to engage in a contract. You know, you can decide, I'm going to buy property somewhere in Kajiado, somewhere in Eldoret, or somewhere in the country as an individual, provided you've agreed as the husband and wife. So the law gives that leeway of being an individual yet within the marriage. Yeah, it allows you to be an individual yet within the marriage. And from there now you can continue, but as long as either of the spouse has financially contributed to the acquisition of that property, they acquire an interest. So like I go and buy a property maybe in Kisii, and my wife has supported me by giving some funds towards the purchase of that, because she's more blessed than I am. She acquires an interest in that property. So I cannot say it is just mine. It now comes under the cover of matrimonial property.
You see, I would have a question there about the law.
Yes.
Because she has supported you.
Yes.
Number one, she prepared breakfast for you.
Correct.
The day you are going to buy.
Yeah. Correct.
And then she ironed your shirt. And she escorted you to the car. Is that not enough interest to be a partaker of that property?
Yeah, it is. It's actually defined as beneficial interest. But now, when we come to cases, now trying to quantify that beneficial interest, the courts have inclined themselves mostly towards a financial element, because that way you're able to quantify. But it's true, there is beneficial interest that you acquire because, yes, she took care of the kids, or he took care of the kids, because it can also be either way.
Yeah.
It can be either way. He took care of the kids, or she took care of the kids. That peace and comfort that you had so that you can be able to go out and work. It's termed as beneficial interest, but the courts of late have been interpreting it as they inquire on the financial contribution, because now there it's able to quantify. Because this other one is more of emotional, and it's very difficult at times to quantify. So there are schools of thought that lean on both ways.
Oh.
Yes.
So how do you like that, babe?
It's not sounding... but anyway, I'm sure it can be argued out. If you have a good lawyer, it can be argued out. And like you're talking, I have several questions.
Yes, please.
For you as a wife and as a woman in a marriage, because I've had these questions raised by also other women. Actually, I'll just ask you two. There is one, and the other day on social media, I saw a very heated debate on this matrimonial property. and a lady was asking, and I saw myself also there. So I'm a lady, I've come into marriage, and I have like a plot somewhere, you know, there.
Yes.
So I come somewhere. I come with a plot. I have come in the marriage with that plot. So the question was, do I change? It's in my name. So do I change now the name to now read Mark and Joyce? And like you said, property, we've come as equal partners, and whatever we acquire in the life, I've had it in the life of the marriage. So this property now, is it mine or is it ours? And do I need to change the names? You know, and there was such a heated debate. And most of the people were saying, no, don't change. Let it be in your name. And you could see fear that comes with, now if I change my name and then this marriage back to the issue of if it doesn't work. So I don't know, what advice would you give wives? Because they're there, they've come in with, it could be small.
You know, it could be the wife or the husband.
Yeah.
It could be either way.
That have come. I don't know why women tend to suffer more. I don't know when things arise. So that is why I think the women were raising all this. But what would be your advice then? This plot, does it remain in my name? Do we change it to our names? Is it mine or is it ours?
Now, if that, when you come with it, my assumption is that you have disclosed it to your spouse.
Yes.
It would be wise once you have disclosed so that he can make, or rather you can decide to develop it together and say this is our matrimonial property. And if you do that, you can gift it to the husband, or you can have his or her name added to it so that it's for the security of the family. For the issue here I'm underscoring is the security of the family, so that if there are going to be any issues, this will be determined for the family, not for external parties. So my advice would be, sit down, agree. If you really want it to be part and parcel of your matrimonial property, allow the other party to put in their name. Yeah, it does not harm, because you are there to be one. And of course, there are the fears, the way Bishop has mentioned. There are the fears, and somehow one way of removing the fears is like, okay, I yield here. It can be the man, it can be the woman. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be my advice.
For security.
Yeah, it's more of security of the family. Because now if you move on our individual interests, I find that it's going to be very difficult even in that relationship, because now it will be more of individualistic than the family aspect. Because I believe the agenda of God for marriage is family. So if now we just live as individuals, then why then are we married? Why do we exist? But if we are fulfilling what would be God's purpose, now I'm speaking as a believer, because the law is very clear, you're equal partners. So it's agree what you're doing, I agree what we are doing. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very clear. But now when you move further and look at now marriage in more of the Christian perspective, let's focus on the family and let's acquire this for the family.
Okay. Well, I think you have some clients here.
Welcome. We'll talk off camera. We'll talk off camera.
We have your contact. Okay. The other thing I hear wives raise is so he goes and acquires a property, let's say a piece of land, and it's in his name.
Yes.
And you know, he didn't put my name, for example. Now, in the eventualities that may happen, how is it for the wife, or let's say even now the husband the other way, legally? Is there a chance of that being contested, or?
Now, with that, what the law has done to secure the interest, especially on property, it requires spousal consent. If I try to dispose of property, my spouse has to consent. It's a requirement.
No.
It's a requirement right now. That if I want to dispose of property, the spouse...
Even if it's in your name?
Yes. My spouse has to consent.
So there are forms
Yes.
which somebody has got to sign.
You have to sign. You have to swear an affidavit, or at least indicate that as the spouse, I consent to this property. It is charged to the bank, or it is disposed to another party. That way, at least, it secures the interest of the family, because from what we have experienced in the past, there's been a lot of cases where scandalous transactions have happened, and you just realize, oh, this property is gone.
Was sold.
How was it sold? It's our home. Right now, even when you charge maybe a matrimonial home to a financial institution, before they actually come and even try to dispose of it, the process is much longer, because the courts give an ear to ensure that at least the family unit does not break because of a debt, maybe either of the spouse, the husband or the wife incurred, and they charge that. So they will try to come and assist where they see that there was an element of fraud. Maybe the spouse was not involved in the whole transaction.
I have a question on that.
Yes,
where there is what did you call it?
Matrimonial property.
Matrimonial property.
Yes.
Now, does it apply to the properties that she got before she got married? Now you said the matrimonial property is what is declared.
Yes, so it is declared.
Okay, now she has declared, but it's just verbal declaration that I have a farm in Rongai, or she has a farm in Gatondo, or wherever.
Yes.
And she got that long before we ever got married. She wants to dispose it. Does she need to get my consent?
She's allowed to dispose of it as an individual. Yeah, because she acquired it before the property. She can dispose of it as an individual, provided that you have both parties know that there's this property and it is on her name. It's in her name, and please proceed. It is yours. You did it. If that's the arrangement, that's okay. Because
then we can develop.
Yeah, then we can develop now our matrimonial. Maybe now we have acquired a property, and we want, from the proceeds of this one that we are disposing, we want to develop this. That's allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's allowed. Yes.
Okay. Now you talked about a spouse cannot dispose a property before the consent of the other spouse.
Correct.
So I'm now thinking a scenario of death, which is an eventuality.
Yes.
I'm still back to is the wife secure?
Yes.
Where properties were in the husband's name, she didn't appear anywhere, he's passed on,
now
and they acquired them.
We're together. Now that's where now we will move into succession, where now we'll encourage, especially viewers, if you have never written a will, this is a point where you should consider writing a will. Because by writing a will, you make life easy for the family. In the event of death, at least we can know how the properties will be distributed, either to the spouse, the children, and to everyone else who's related to you, depending on how God has blessed you. If you're able to take care of the entire family, well and good. But at least for your nuclear family, they are well secured. So to answer your question, if you are not provided for in a will, now that's the point. You'll have to go to court and seek the assistance of court to secure your interest, because say this one belongs to my late husband, and now I seek court. And the way we are doing that is through the law of succession, where you go to court. Kwa Kiswahili wanasema unaenda kushtaki kifo.
Unastaki kifo.
Unastaki kifo. Sasa that's what people understand. Unaenda kushtaki kifo, so that now you are able to at least seek this. You have the court help you to get all the assets, the liabilities, and now look at how you're going to distribute it to the nuclear family and the extended family where possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now that issue of the will.
Yes.
Do people do them?
We have this fear, and now this is why I've also had my bishop speak so much. Let's not fear. But I know there's that fear that in the African setting, if you declare writing a will, it's like you're inviting death to come. Yeah. But it's even helpful, because we have seen even on the media, you have seen how it can be very embarrassing for families to start fighting and even get into physical confrontations on properties, when these matters could actually be managed well, when you just outline clearly, when you're of sober state, because the will should be written when you're in a sober state, when you're able to identify, I have a property in Kisumu, I have a property in Kajiado, I have a property this way, and I want this one to go to my wife, this one go to my children, this one go to the firstborn, secondborn. When you're in a sober state, that's the proper time to write your will. Because now if you fall into sometimes when you are ill, of ill health, the medication sometimes can also interfere with your mental faculties. And it can also be a way of challenging the legality of a will, because they say you are heavily medicated or heavily sedated. You cannot understand. So it's a ground to say that this will was being written when he was not in a proper state of mind. Or you also need to write when you're free. I mean, you're not being coerced. You not realize that, oh, maybe circumstances around me indicate that my time is...
The gate is just is being opened.
Yeah. You need to be in a free environment, not under duress or coercion. It's not like you're being forced, but you have a proper state of mind, and then you have witnesses, because it has to be executed in the presence of witnesses. People who are independent, who are sober, who understand, they're above they're adults, they're able to enter into a contract, so they help you to just witness that you've actually appended your signature, declared, my assets are the following, and they're going to so and so. Yeah, and you're allowed to amend it as often as the Lord blesses you by acquiring more properties, or as you think, and then you realize, oh no, maybe I need to do this, I need to, because it's you.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Momanyi.
Yes, Bishop.
I have written a will.
Yes.
And I've said this property goes to so and so. And then when I was buying the property, there was a section that was asking for the next of kin. And the next of kin then is not the person
you have bequeathed
that I'm bequeathing that property. How would that be handled? Because on the form there is a next of kin, but when we come to the will, I have bequeathed that property to somebody else, either because I forgot who was the next of kin.
Because I want to believe at that point it was during when you are carrying out the transaction.
Yes.
But now you already have the legal title, so you don't have you're not tied by the past because it was in the process of a transaction that you're declaring the next of kin. Because in this case, the will supersedes any agreement that you have made.
Oh, because I'm thinking about shares.
Yeah.
Having bought some shares. And when I was writing that, filling that form, I said so-and-so will get 10%, so-and-so 20%, so-and-so 30%. It is in the form of the shares. But now when I came to writing the will, it was there were different figures. Because maybe the relationship had changed, or there was some were there who are not there, who are there. And so it has changed. How is that taken?
Now that is where now we say that you should do it when you're in a sober state, because now some of those transactions, considering the technicalities of the information that is required, you need to always update. You have to consistently update, because I know there's that part where we normally, you may be sent a reminder by a financial institution, update your next of kin details so that they can have, because of course the financial institution now will be bound by what you had written. So now it will have to again go to court for the court now to look at why was this done. So it is important that we correct it or have consistency in all your transactions. Although there are times you may not have control. It is true. There are times you may forget there was something that existed. But if the other records indicate that there was consistency maybe towards a certain direction, the courts will definitely fall to what, because they don't want to go far from the wish of what we would say the deceased. Yeah, they just want to ensure that there is equity and everyone in the family is taken care of. But as long as maybe God has blessed you of a sober state of mind, it is good when you get these reminders, just go back and look. And that's where we lawyers come in to help, so that we help you put your affairs in order here and there to avoid that. But of course, Bishop, that is actually a possibility.
And that could be the reason why some of these court cases can just drag
Yes.
They are known to just...
Yes, because you declared on one side this, on the other side you declared this, so there's a lot of inconsistency. So we will the court will try to see where is the consistency by bringing back documents. So that's why it's important, especially even like, I know financial institutions always do that on a regular basis, so that they
and
can
sometimes
see.
we ignore.
Yeah, we actually ignore. That's the sometimes that's the challenge we do.
When you're alive, you never think that anything would happen, and it's easy to ignore some of those reminders.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how it goes.
So you're telling our viewers it's good to write a will?
Yeah, it is good. It is good, fellow viewers, if you're watching this, it's good to put your affairs in order, because a prudent man leaves an inheritance for his children. So good to leave your house in order, because some of these cases are not really necessary to fight in court. If you put your will, if you give us your desires, we are able to administrate effectively. But if you die without doing that will, and it does not cost much to sit down with a pen and paper and write it, and can approach an advocate to be able to put it in legal terms or give you assistance so that you leave your affairs in order. Yes, Bishop.
So please, viewers, if you need help, you can talk to David Momanyi, and you will get that help. Now we have talked about
Matrimonial property.
Matrimonial property.
Yes.
And you said that children are not part of the matrimonial property.
Children are not property. For all intents and purposes, I don't think we are property. We are blessings. Yeah, because the way the Lord defines property, it does not extend to children.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Now, what about this couple? They have 2 boys, and they have 1 girl, and the girl gets married. How is that handled when it comes to now the properties of the parents? That is, I think this takes us to succession.
Yes, succession, yes.
So how is the succession law as far as that is concerned?
Male children and female children have equal rights.
Say it again. And say it loudly and clearly.
Male children and female children have equal rights to inherit their parents' property. The law is very clear that female children can inherit property. Male children can inherit property. So the fact that they are married, but their father is still alive, especially in the case of female children, there's nothing hindering you as the father to bequeath a property to your married daughter. There's nothing that's inhibiting you. It is very clear. It has been a myth for many years, but the law has made it clear that they have equal right to also inherit the parents' property. Yes.
And she can go to court if she's not included in.
Yes.
She has the right.
She has the right. She'll actually show, I am the daughter. I'm a daughter to the deceased.
I'm the firstborn.
Yes.
Or the secondborn.
Yes. Yeah, they can actually challenge it.
Wow.
Yeah, because it does not mean that the fact that by virtue of marriage you moved, that you lose also your entire identity with your family. Yeah. So the law also secures that, so that at least whatever the father acquired or the mother acquired during her life on earth, she's still able to bequeath it to the children. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's very clear.
I think it's good when people understand this, because there's a lot of ignorance. Remember what we said about the 3 enemies.
Yes.
Ignorance is the chief, the chief enemy, and this is just because nobody has come up to tell us, or we have not been bold enough. The people have not been bold enough to say, I don't understand this. I need to understand, and that becomes very, very important. Now we have talked about succession. Is that all about succession?
Well, succession really comes into play upon the death of the testator. Okay, just to go back, the testator is the person who writes a will. So once he passes on, that's when the law of succession comes into play. Because if he had a will, the will be verified with court and it will be distributed according to his desires, his or her desires. If, on the other hand, he died without a will, now the process will start where the family may come together and appoint one or two individuals who will represent the interest of the family. Earlier on, we had these big families. Of late, the families are quite small. But earlier on, you had big families where you had, especially if it's a polygamous marriage, you had to appoint people who can actually represent the interests of the family and now file for probate and administration in court, where now the court will ask what are the assets of the deceased. You bring all the assets, bring all the liabilities, and then you get a consent from all the children or everyone who looked to him as dependents. Dependents, the law defines as people who look to you for their subsistence or by virtue of family, blood relations. Blood relations up to the 6th degree. Those are dependents.
Up to?
Up to the 6th degree. You know, now you have a nuclear family, then you have your extended family, then if you have a step family, then you have your grandparents, you have your uncles, aunties, cousins, step cousins.
Up to step cousins.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the 6th degree of blood relations. Yeah, there's a family tree because I think when the law was being drafted, the African family was quite extended. So of late we are really narrow, but I think then that was the reason, because what happens if a property cannot find the owner, the deceased property cannot find the owner, it will revert back to the government.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
don't know if I can take you back, unless you have a question on that.
Yeah, I'm still on that 6th generation.
Yes.
So you're saying upon the demise of this person, there is the children. Let's say there are 3 children. Let's say they had 2 grandchildren. So you're saying even those grandchildren would be put there?
Yes. If the
Let's say there's no will.
Yeah, if there's no will, the grandchildren will put there by virtue of them being related. You don't have to go to that 6th degree if maybe it's very clear within the family circles he was supporting this family. And of course, the properties can be distributed to these ones.
The nuclear family.
The nuclear family.
Will it be equal distribution until the grandchildren?
Now that will be now dependent on the court and how now as the family agree, because now that's the part when you are filling up the forms, you now start to state maybe the spouse will get a bigger portion, and then the firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, and if now there are children, like that.
So again, it's the family that agrees how that.
It's the family that agrees and go and advise court.
Oh.
This is
depending on the inheritance.
Yes, depending on the inheritance.
Because if there was only one shamba,
yes,
and it is 3 acres, or it is just you cut one, or you agree on how you're going to cut.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a matter of the family agreeing together.
Sit down.
How long does that process take?
It take you about a year.
About a year.
Yeah, it will take you about a year.
Okay.
Because you will be granted the first instrument you'll be given is a grant of letters, just to let people know that the estate of so and so has been filed in court and this individual has come up to be the administrator. If anyone has challenges, please let us know. Yeah. So that notice goes, and then finally the court will give you the certificate of confirmation of grant, which now outlines the schedule of all the assets and how they're being distributed to the dependents.
Okay.
Yes, Bishop.
Well, I think our time is so much gone. We have not talked about divorce and remarriage.
Yes.
That's something that we maybe would want to talk about, but we may not be able to talk about it now. And we have also not talked about. There's a Christian couple. They have been married, and then they have completely disagreed.
Yeah.
What do we do? And we know that the Christian marriage is monogamous.
Yes.
Once this girl or this man is ran away, am I still monogamous or?
Yeah, you as long as you can demonstrate, because grounds of divorce, you have to show that there's cruelty and maybe separation. You have been separated for the past 2 years from the date of marriage. You have been neglected for the past 2 years from the date of marriage. You have been
abused.
Yeah, that's what we're talking, cruelty. And then there is maybe your spouse has been convicted for a crime and is inside for 7 years, or there is insanity, incurable insanity. So if you can demonstrate that to court, then actually now the court can grant you divorce.
Okay, I think that's a topic that we're going to handle a little bit later and
Bishop.
get into more details. Because you see, as a pastor, I keep getting these cases.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And in some places, the scriptures are silent.
Yes.
The Bible is silent about that.
Yeah.
So we will look at that. But for now, I think I want to say thank you very much to our viewers.
Thank you,
and thank you to Joyce and to David
Thank
for
you, Bishop.
coming and being with us. Viewers, I trust that you have gotten something about succession. You have gotten something about Christian marriage. You have gotten something about what we have discussed. And should you have any questions, don't hesitate. There is our number on the screen. You can get it to us, and we will make arrangements for you to get legal advice. Remember, David is a practicing lawyer, and you can get in touch with him the soonest you can. For now, thank you so very much. May the Lord richly bless you. Have a good night. This is Bishop Mark Karaoke coming to you from the Open Talk. Thank you.